Hey guys, it's Cassandra from Beads to Live By. It's so good to see you tonight. For those that are joining live, I am going over our latest tutorial on this fun and easy multi-strand bracelet. We're going to break it down for you so that you can do this with a needle and thread and seamlessly with one length of thread work all 5 strands and connect to your closed ring component that you are currently able to order through us, although we have a limited supply. And for the sake of the supply list, we are including a more generic description. This happens to be a tier cast component, but as of January of 2024, those are no longer available for reorder. So we are going to just give you the tips on how to connect to any closed ring. And that way you can find supplies when they are available when you see this video. So don't be caught up in just the specific look of this set, because you can definitely utilize different types of components for that. But we've got a whole mixture of seed beads in there. As you can see in the supply list, we've got these adorable little 3mm pearls that we've got listed by the strand now on the website. And that's a 16-inch strand. So as you can see, I've pulled things for 3 different projects at least off this, and I still have tons left over. So that's going to be an excellent investment because you'll be able to use it over and over again. And then aside from the 4 different colors of that's Rocal seed beads, which means that they're rounded as opposed to the Matubo, which are the more cylindrical ones, the size 10s that we're talking about. We've also got some of our newer stock of the 4mm bicones in there. This is a check glass bicone. You could use a crystal, which are getting added to the website right now. We have tons of beautiful crystals listed now. But this bundle is what I want to talk about specifically. I do have these listed. So if you're wanting to really replicate the specific look of this bracelet we're doing, we have these bundles in copper or gold. And we've got the jump rings, the clasp, the bail spacers, what those are called. And that's everything you'll need, along with a little packet of the metal spacers. So those are in gold, what we used in that first sample. And we've got them in copper, which is what we'll be working with tonight as well. And I need to steal these jump rings for that set I've got set aside. So keep us posted on your questions and comments. I'm going to get right into the logistics of how to do this project and go over all of my tips for this. So you guys can just hang out and enjoy the ride. Just a quick reminder, if you are shopping for supplies, you can find all of the items we're talking about at beadstoliveby.com. And we truly appreciate your support. For those that are watching during this time frame that we're going live in, it's a big moment in our business history process of moving. We've bought a building, and it's exciting, it's stressful, it's a lot of work. So we really appreciate any support that you're able to share and show us right now for sure. But this is the entirety of the bracelet. We will probably work through one full strand and share top to bottom how that works and moving on to the second strand. But after that, it's very repetitive. So I wouldn't want to bore you guys past that. But I will go back and bury my tail thread so you guys can see my very standard tip for how I bury my threads. And I am just going to share that supply list for a little bit longer while I get my thread cut. We are working with a 10-pound wildfire. And if you need needles and thread, I don't know if that's specifically something I have on the website right now, but I can definitely add that to your order easily. So just message me if you're looking for something like that. And I just got 2 yards, which from my shoulder to the opposite hand, all the way stretched out, is about a yard. So 2 of those is enough for the project. So just a tip, you can open this up on your phone and take a screenshot to get that entire supply list, that you don't have to necessarily worry about having that showing up all the time. I'm going to change that banner at the bottom though, so that there's a little bit more screen space for the tutorial. And then we're going to take our thread. I've flattened the end of that thread. So especially with this beige color, you can hardly even see it between my fingers, but you're going to take your needle and the eye of the needle, you'll just lower over the end of that thread. So then when you pull along the very end where you've flattened it good, that will go right through the eye of the needle. And I work with 11s and 12s most of the time. It's a pretty small needle, so it can be difficult to see and thread sometimes. I am going to show you guys my favorite tip for making a strung bracelet when you're working with a needle and thread. It can be tricky to size. So I always want to, if my clasp components are not attached already, so like I need to attach my ends of my clasp to my ring. I'm using 2 jump rings on each end, and that is going to allow things to sit nicely. Hi, Rosalinda. Oh my gosh, it's so good to see your little face bubble. And for this project and this, oh, there's a little bonus doggy here. For this style of ending, I'm going to connect my jump ring to this smaller ring, and I'm going to connect my beads to the bigger ring. How is your new year starting off, Rosalinda? I hope it's going well. Oh, that's right, because you're a West Coast girl, so we are in the midst of your workday. So just get all these components. Hi, Marcy. I'm so glad that you like the looks of it. I think you guys will enjoy the idea behind it. It's a great stash buster, so like you could use a lot of different kinds of beads in it. I've got that supply list at the beginning of the video that just shares like exactly what I used, so that if people are looking for that replicated look or wanting that replicated look, then they can achieve that. So the reason I say to connect any various components of your clasp together is because you want to know what space this takes up on your wrist, because then you're only going to make your longest and shortest strands just past this for it to fit your wrist. Oh, Rosalinda, it has been a tough start to the year. I feel like I know so many people who are struggling. I'm sorry to hear that's going that way for you as well. So we're going to take one of these, again, any closed ring will do, because you can connect with various sizes of jump rings to your clasp. And we're going to take the end of our thread. So the needle's on the other end of this thread. This is the needleless end. And you want to leave at least 4 or 6 inches so that you can tie that off later. So cross the thread over itself and bring the end through the loop. We're just tying a double overhand knot here. So choosing a neutral colored thread that is similar in tone to the color of your metal ring is what's going to give you the most seamless look here. Especially on video, you don't see that thread hardly at all. And I have all my beads laid out here. So when you look at that list of, I'm going to throw the supply list up here again. When you look at that list of supplies, the program limits how much I can put in a bubble, clearly for a good reason, because otherwise I'm going to just add endless amounts of information. But with those 4 different sizes of Rocal seed beads, you do want 2 colors of most of them. Again, if you are replicating the look of this particular bracelet. If you are doing your own thing, that's not a necessity, but I just want to make sure you guys are on the same page. So for this part, we are going to do some brick stitch off of this ring, and we are going to use a size 8 seed bead. So I am going to pick the most like neutral one out of the 2. You start with 2 seed beads. And again, that's my size 8. I'm sorry my camera's jumping all around. I don't know why it's doing this with this particular portion of the video. I don't see any settings that can change that. But I'm knotted to the ring, and then I went through the ring, and I'm holding the ring purposefully so that my beads won't slide through as I pull my thread down. So once you get the beads to the ring, you want them to sit like so, and you're going to go through that last one that was added, but we're going to come from the direction that is the thread is exiting closest to the ring, and we're going to go from that end up and out. So it's important to get them to set the way that we just showed you, because that allows you to position your needle properly. And then I'm going to go down through the bead next to it, and I'm going to go up through the following bead one more time. I'm going to turn my screen brightness up a little bit because I'm having a little hard time seeing. I think I'm a little bit grainy there, but that's your goal with your beads, to have them sit like that. And then we're going to add one more size 8. We're going to go through the ring. Oh, some seltzer water there. And then back up through that next bead. So the process is the same, other than you only add 1 bead at a time after that first stitch. And we're going to do 5. Now you can make it more or less strands. Too many more strands with this size ring is going to start to feel a little cumbersome, I think, but you could switch to a size 11 at the ends probably, as long as you make sure the hole is sufficient for going in and out of. And we're just going to work to make sure. So that's your end result, is you want 5 beads flared out along that ring. Sorry for the shaking. I was going to see if I could do anything, nope, to try to keep that from clicking around. Now, once you have the measurement of your clasp, you take your bracelet measurement for a strung bracelet on your wrist, and you subtract the length of the closed clasp, and then the remaining length is what you need to do with your stringing. With this project, it's nice to like twist it up a little bit when you put it on. So you might want to leave a little bit of slack. But some of this is just going to be like trial and error with your first strand, especially. So I like to use sections of the colors and then create patterns out of them. So for instance, I'm going to throw on like just a 3/4 of an inch worth of those matte tubo 10s. They're very transparent, so you don't see very much of them in the video there. Sorry about that. And then I've got all sorts of fun combinations of things. So just to replicate some of what I did in the original sample, we've got like a little vignette where we do a metal spacer and then one of the pearls and a metal spacer. So you've got something like that going on. And then you can do like a combination of 2 different sizes of seed beads. So mix some of these 11s and 6s together and do like a series of those. So that's another maybe 3 6s at a time with the 11s in between. So you see how you just like get some texture from doing things like that. And then maybe just a row of some seed beads. Just don't know what color I want to use. Maybe just my matte 2 bows. I'll use a few less this time. And then maybe just a couple of, I've got this. So the 8s that I'm using in this combination are the same 8s, both colors from the, from the January collection. Rosalinda, the 11s in this combination are actually 2 colors from my August collection from 2023. So I'll show those 581A and 446 from August of 2023. These are the 11s that I've gotten here. And the 15s are my Muscat, Muscat, and those are just a coppery color. These are the size 10 matte 2 bows. I think it's a Rosaline AB, but it's just that really faint, transparent pinky color. And then the 8s in this, the 2 8s that are in here are from your January collection. So you could do the really turquoisey combo, or you could get a few extra beads from these, and you could use these 8s and do the more romantic colors. I was being affected by Valentine's Day approaching. Okay, so now I'm just gonna throw in some 11s, and maybe I'll do a handful, and then I'll do one of my bicones. These bicones are so fun. They're a check glass, which is a newer item for us and not something I'm seeing very many other places. And they have such a nice look to them. So just to give you an idea, we've got this section of the matte 2 bows, the pearl with the metal components, the 11s between the 6s, more matte 2 bows, some 8s, and then this combination of the 11s and the bicone. This is like, we're just going to continue on in that kind of a manner. So I'm going to do a little less narration on that and throw on some more beads so that you guys can see the turnarounds and the additional strand combination, how you put that together. Oh gosh, the 6s roll right over my 15s in that area, so that's fun. I'm glad you do, Rosalinda. Thanks, Marcy. I love, and I've got, these are a size 6 in like a, it's definitely one that we carry, Ceylon Ivory Pearl. So that works really well with like the real pearls being in there. It kind of gives you a romantic feel. And mix in some 11s and 8s now as like a, oh goodness, I'll rattle them right off my needle there. Rosalinda, you know, it's interesting that you brought up having some struggles for the start of the year because it's been a tough week or two, a tough day, and I was seriously considering postponing the video, but I so enjoy spending time with you guys. I really enjoy having, you know, an excuse to sit down and bead, and I hope you guys are taking good care of yourselves and remembering to do things that are good for your soul and help you to not, you know, be overwhelmed by day-to-day life. I think it's important to take time for yourself and check in and really make sure that you're refueling and recharging for life's not going to get any easier, right? In some ways. So loving this interesting little combo of beads. Just string on some regular 11s, I think. And remember, if you leave some like spaces where it's just like one size of bead, you're gonna, notice those things as you are working on your second, third, fourth, fifth strands. And that way you've got some like quiet space where on other strands you can do more texture without it being overwhelming. So that's my like 2 cents on my design choices here. So here, getting close. It's gonna go really well with some of my palette for my next week's video. I'm going to do a little, I called it Cupid's Marathon because I've got lots of things to share with you guys. Just want to make sure whatever you do with your strands, you don't go any shorter than your shortest allotted amount of space. But I'm going to bring this strand up onto the screen so you guys can see, and I'll move the banner a little bit there again. So that is the entirety of that strand. Oh, Marcy, I'm so glad you're enjoying that sugar skull tutorial. I love those projects with the flowers. I'm excited to make more combinations. We've got new colors of sugar skulls from our trip to the Czech Republic in October last year. So that'll be fun. So now that you're getting ready to do the opposite end of your bracelet, I think it's a good time to go ahead and unclasp your, this is the open end of my clasp that I haven't attached to yet. I'm going to get my tools out of the way before I catch my thread on them. And then I've got to add 1 size 8 seed bead that matches the ones that I started with. So I'm talking about the ones that we did the brick stitch with. So I'm going to take that. I'm going to hold my ring again so that my needle's the only thing that can pass through the hole. And then we're going to go back through the seed bead, that size 8 only, if our beads and needle will allow. And then after that, we're going to, the magic is where it's happening here. 1 size 8 seed bead on the needle, and you're going to go through the ring. And, oh, got tails everywhere. And then go back through that size 8. And just a little extra reinforcement. We're going to go back through the first size 8 towards the ring, and then we're going to go back up through the second size 8 away from the ring. So this is going to allow you to start your next strand. And I have enough time. I'm going to show going all the way down to this end because you'll connect to the 8 that's open next to your first 8 that you already used. So we'll explain that more, but right now we have 2 size 8s at this end. And I'm just going to confirm it's just about the same size as my original. So once you get that length right on that first strand, remember that's one of the outer strands, so you can leave the strands in the middle looking a little loose. You don't want them to get any shorter or any tighter because that will cause your bracelet to shrink. That's the number one thing about using a needle and thread to do your strong bracelets. You just have to really be mindful of that. So now as I work along, I'm going to pay attention to what I used in the first row, and I'm going to do things differently in this row to kind of keep it from being too all the same in each section, if that makes sense. So I've got some of my size 10 matte 2 bows to start, just a handful to get close to where I started with those 6s. And then I'm switching to 11s and 8s alternating. And I'm going to pull those down and see how that looks. The colors are going to be similar to what I started with on the other side, but I'm going to keep it from lining up too exactly with the other. So I really want to throw, I think I'm going to do a bicone and then a pearl and a bicone. Oh, one with a hole is helpful. That happens every once in a while. So I'm putting in the bicones and that pearl in a section where there's just seed beads before I get to other bicones. That's what I mean about like trying to keep from mimicking the exact pattern from the previous strand so that you get this like texture and interest. How about we do some 8s and 6s? Try that. Next. Don't love that. At least not with that color, maybe. Might just do some 8s for a minute. So this project is something you'll want to either put on a bead board that you can like set to the side for a few days or just sit down and power through it, because you'll have so many beads out that you'll not want to like put them away and take them back out again. You do have to be mindful of erasers. Thanks, Marcy. I try, even if it's a simplistic project, I really try to give you guys some helpful information throughout the process, because it's just, you know, even though it's just stringing beads, it's really not just stringing beads, if you know what I mean. So I'm going to do some 11s and 6s now. I try to switch up what colors I use with, you know, the different sizes. That's why I've got 2 colors with a lot of these sizes. Just think it's nice to be able to throw one of my metal spacers on here. Now you have enough metal spacers to do 2 of them per strand if you're doing the set that we've got listed online. Oh, maybe I want a section with this reddish one here. So there's that. There's more green in this than I had planned for. I'm not upset about it, but it's just interesting. Got so many pearls. I think I'm going to do a couple pearls with a bicone in between them or something. We'll see. Might hate it. Take it back off. I think it falls a little close to the one combination of things I have, but that's fine. Okay, definitely need some of these matte 2 bow 10s back in the mix, both for the color and the texture. Just gonna check a notification. All right. Hopefully there. Like, I didn't knock my camera off the video setting. We're almost to the other end, and then everything else is a straight repeat from here. So you guys almost have every little piece of information you need in order to be the experts that I know you are. I'm gonna do some 11s and some of these bicones. Just love these colors and textures together so much. All right, getting close here. Maybe switch up and do a few size 8s. I only put one of my metal spacers in this strand, but I don't think it's really, I'm gonna throw a few 15s all over my office. I'm gonna throw a few 15s on here in a straight line, I think. That's what I was trying to do before I tossed them everywhere else. And like I said, just remember to position the bracelet so that it is true to the fact that those size 8s that you started with on the one side are the edge of the bracelet. So that spot is going to be fanned out more than the way your beads, like as you work towards the middle, those strands should be almost a little like longer, a little looser than those outer strands. Otherwise it won't fit the same. Hopefully that's making sense to everybody. And then on this end, you do not have to end with a size 8 because you're going to go into the 8s that are already there. And I'll show you in just a second what I'm talking about. So I want to make sure and get my beads strung on. That was the longest pause in the history of YouTube. Okay. So we are going to go. This is the strand that we started with. This is the end we started at. So we're going to take this second strand that's completely strung, and we're going to go through the second in, the size 8 that's second in from the one we started with. Oh, thanks, Rosalinda. I made this, I think I did a Facebook video, and I can find the link for it if anybody's interested. Just shoot us an email or a private message on Facebook. But this one has Softflex medium beading wire, I think, and then different sizes of seed beads and different shapes of 2-hole beads. And it's funny because this goes so well with our curated collection subscriptions now. Like you could use any of the first at least few months of the subscriptions for something like this with a lot of the different beads. We've got tons of fun 2-hole beads on our website from all of last year's subscriptions that you could use for that as well. So this is your second strand. See, you can pull it right out. So make sure that it's taut, not tight, but taut. And then you're going to go through this direction of the third. So this was, you started with 1, you came into 2, and you're going to go out of the third size 8. Everything after this is a repeat of what we've already shown you. You will be working with this side, and you'll want to make sure and work on the same side, like from your previous bead and previous strand every time, to add the strands in the appropriate order, and just continue to kind of be mindful of your variety that you're adding. I mean, you know, some things lining up in color and pattern is okay. I'm probably gonna get at least one strand in here that's mostly just like sections of plain seed beads, just to keep it from being too busy. Because when they're all piled on top of each other, that's what you want to try to avoid a little bit, is having too busy of a look. Rosalinda says, It's embarrassing. Oh, it's embarrassing, I think is what she's saying, but I haven't used many of my seed beads, so I have many for lots of bracelets. I don't think it's embarrassing at all, Rosalinda. You need that stash there so that you can, when you're inspired, create, right? Like that's the whole point of this is to have lots of beads ready at your fingertips. The whole point of it for me, at least. Oh, thank you so much, Marcy. Loves how it flows. I'm just giving you guys a little bit more of this like design here. Oh, hi, Maria. Welcome to the party. Um, like I said, it's been a long week. I'm going to show you guys how to end your threads by burying that tail thread right now. But I'm not going to finish the bracelet on camera because that would take probably another half an hour plus. And I'm admittedly just a little bit beat up after the last few days. So Marcy is laughing at you, Rosalinda. She says you can never have too many seed beads. So with either end of the bracelet, when you have completed your stitching, you are going to either take the thread that is already on the needle or you're going to thread your tail onto your needle. And I am just going to work over to like the end that we started at with this tail thread so that we're not clogging up any spaces of places we might be stitching later. So S shape, in and out, snake out of your project. And then because I'm facing out here, I'll do this here. We're going to go through just a couple of beads on that second strand because of the placement of this. And we're going to go underneath the strand that's between the beads. Because what this does is we're going to create a loop with our thread and we're going to go through it with our needle. And then we're going to pull that down and tighten it. And we're going to do that one more time. So you're going to be creating a double knot with your thread. And we're going to go through the beads and pull tight, pulling on my, just because that was like a loose strand, I'm pulling on the thread that was still loose to make sure that I didn't pull it unnecessarily loose by yanking on my knot. So now I just have my working thread. And for those of you that don't love that tail thread hanging out, you can always do this too. Oh, hi, Jenny. Oh, you guys, I missed some of the fun there for a minute. So hi, Maria. Hi, Rosalinda. Hi, everybody. Oh, well, I'm going to get off of here so that those of you that didn't catch the first, basically most of the tutorial can see how we put this bracelet together. But thank you so much for hanging out with me, guys. I'm sorry. Maybe I'll have to like push my time back a little bit. Would it be good to start at 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time or 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time any better for like the West Coasters especially? You don't have to tell me tonight. You can shoot me a message or leave a comment on Facebook or something. But that's my circus today. So thank you guys. I will look forward to seeing what you guys do. 7 o'clock would work better for Maria. And if you're not already part of the group, we have this fun Facebook group called Beads in Progress that just is a place where if you've bought beads from us or are following one of our tutorials or have taken a class from our instructors, you can share what you're working on and your progress in that Facebook group. So make sure and join that if you haven't already. Aw, thanks so much, Marcy and Maria. I'm so glad you guys all were here. Rosalinda, Jenny, great to see you. And I will talk to you all soon. Have a wonderful rest of your week. Bye.